The air in Lakerland this offseason has been thick with quiet anticipation, a stillness tinged with unspoken confidence that this purple and gold roster, painstakingly shaped behind closed doors, might just be the championship formula we've been craving since the bubble triumph in 2020, a season that felt like destiny realized. After the heartbreaks of the early 2000s and the Kobe Shaq dynasty's fading echoes, it's that kind of electricity you can't quite put into words. The hum that runs through practice facilities, whispers through the hallways of Crypto.com Arena, and makes every fan glance at the schedule with a mix of excitement and urgency. Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with purple and gold passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. Because what we're about to unpack is the real story behind the polished press releases. While headlines have swirled endlessly around the elder statesman, LeBron James now touching the twilight of his legendary career, chasing that elusive 18th banner as his health teeters precariously like a tightrope walker. In the final act, the Lakers front office, led by Rob Pelinka, has been in stealth mode. No splashy, chaotic trade binges, no frantic reshuffling, just to make noise. Instead, they've embraced calculated preservation, choosing stability over chaos with the repeated rejection of enticing trade packages that would have sent away key role players like Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt. These aren't headline hogs, but they're the kind of players whose contributions can quietly tip the scales in April and May. Think about Vincent, the 2023 playoff hero who lit up the Heat with clutch shooting and fearless drives, arriving in LA with the promise of steady backcourt production only to have injuries interrupt his first run. Last season, in 72 games, he averaged 6.4 points, but his impact was in the rhythm he brought to second units. His ability to hit a timely corner three or steady a possession when the offense stalled. And Vanderbilt, Vano, is the guy who doesn't just guard, he erases. He turns the opponent's best scoring forward into a frustrated non-factor, averaging over 5 points, 5 rebounds, and a steal across his Lakers tenure. His hustle is worth more than the stat sheet can capture. So why cling to them when the Lakers had chances, real chances, to reshape the roster? This wasn't stubbornness. It was a strategic choice, and that choice looks even more intentional when you consider the other moves they did make. Acquiring Marcus Smart, a defensive maestro whose leadership can anchor a locker room, Adri Ayton, a true center with scoring, touch, and rim presence, and Jake LaRavia, a young wing who might just explode into a reliable rotation piece if his shooting translates. But here's where the plot thickens. Reports say Luka Doncic himself, fresh off inking a jaw-dropping $165 million extension to solidify his place in LA's core, has been exerting influence behind the scenes. No more patience, no more wait for next year. If this team is going to chase banner 18 while LeBron and AD are still elite, the front office needs to stack the deck now. In that light, holding on to Vincent and Vanderbilt isn't sentiment, it's leverage. It's insurance for early season hiccups, for injury flare-ups, for chemistry tweaks. If things don't click by mid-season, they become trade chips that could instantly reconfigure the team's trajectory. That means every minute they log isn't just a contribution, it's an audition, a running evaluation under the blinding last spotlight. And all of this unfolds under a bigger, quieter shift. Ownership. Mark Walter, the man who turned the Dodgers into a perennial contender with 12 straight postseason berths and 2 titles, now owns a majority stake in the Lakers. His track record, relentless investment, no tolerance for mediocrity, and an obsession with infrastructure from recovery facilities to talent pipelines. If that ethos carries over to the Lakers, every decision from roster construction to player development will be filtered through the lens of championship or bust. Walter's first bold move, locking in Luka long-term, but the full ripple effect of his ownership style hasn't even hit yet. Right now, Pelinka is juggling the harsh realities of the salary cap. The Lakers are just $1.1 million under the luxury tax apron, boxed in on signing a 15th player without triggering penalties. That's why trade whispers keep bubbling. Could we see a reunion with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, a proven 3-and-D weapon from 2020, or a bold swing for Dillon Brooks, a defensive pest with a chip on his shoulder? The kind of grit this roster sometimes lacks. Even Malik Monk's name surfaces, his offensive firepower attempting counterbalance to potential defensive sacrifices. Each path points to a different identity. Go defense first, and you lean on LeBron AD to carry the scoring. Add offense, and you risk opening cracks for playoff opponents to exploit. And threading that needle is the very essence of this front office's challenge. So we circle back to the question haunting the fanbase: is holding on to Vincent and Vanderbilt a show of confidence in internal growth, or is it a placeholder mover? Way to keep the powder dry until the right midseason blockbuster appears? Will these guys be playoff X factors? Or will they be packaged in February to chase the missing piece? Because make no mistake, the clock is ticking. LeBron's legendary chase isn't a long game anymore. It's a season-by-season calculation. AD's health, the ultimate wild card. And surrounding them are developing pieces: Max Christie's poise, Austin Reeves' relentless motor, Rui Hachimura's two-way flashes that could push the Lakers from contender to favorite if they hit their ceilings. Meanwhile, LA's sports heartbeat is sensing in a way we've never seen before. Shared ownership with the Dodgers could mean cross-pollination of winning culture, elite analytics, even brand synergy that bleeds into team identity. Imagine the city rallying around the dynasties, both built on the same ruthless pursuit of excellence. As preseason gives way to the real grind, every rotation tweak, every defensive stand, every dagger three will carry the weight of a legacy, teetering between resurgence and regret. Will Mark Walter's stewardship and Luka's prime turn this group into a juggernaut that storms to banner 18? Or will we look back at this offseason and see missed opportunities that could have rewritten history? The stakes couldn't be higher, the tension couldn't be thicker, and the beauty of it, in LA, the line between triumph and heartbreak is as thin as the net on a perfect swish. I've seen both, and I can tell you there's nothing like the ride we're about to take. So drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there, heart in hand, living and breathing every second of this with you, because in this city, basketball isn't just a game, it's who we are. There's a blade-sharp crack in the air tonight in LA, like someone just slammed the locker room door, so hard the echoes ricochet through every heartbeat watching. A shudder born from that uneasy mix of hope and raw desperation the purple and gold haven't felt since the final buzzer of Game 7 in 2010. But this time, it's different, laced with whispers of power shifts, locker room politics, and an ownership vision that could bring glorious carnage or soul-crushing collapse. As the dust from the offseason settles, you realize the story isn't just about who's on the court, but who's pulling the strings behind closed doors. The question slices through your veins. Are the Lakers engineering the most fearsome reawakening since Showtime? Or is this a master plan teetering on the edge? As fragile as AD's knees and as dependent as LeBron's body on every excruciating stretch of his legendary career inside the practice facility. The hum isn't just sneakers on hardwood, it's a coiled spring ready to snap. Every pass from Marcus Smart, every jab from Jake LaRavia, every defensive scrape from Vanderbilt, it's about carving identity in a lineup stacked with potential but haunted by injury curses and chemistry experiments. Picture LeBron, no longer invincible, but still carrying the weight of Los Angeles dreams, glancing at AD fighting battles unseen, knowing a whisper of pain could change everything. In those trenches, Vincent drains a three. Vanderbilt pulls down a rebound, small plays in a colossal puzzle. With stakes too high to afford failure, beneath the surface, the real drama churns. Luka Doncic, relentless and ambitious already, embedded into LA's future with a monstrous contract, quietly telling the front office that patience is a luxury they can't afford. The rejection of trade offers for Vincent and Vanderbilt isn't just loyalty, it's a signal flare. A bet that these gritty role players are the glue holding the franchise together as LeBron chases that 18th ring. But these stable pieces walk a tightrope, potential midseason trade chips waiting for the right deal to turn contender status into juggernaut form. With Mark Walter's new ownership stake, the ground shifts. The man who built the Dodgers dynasty now demands domination, not just competitiveness, setting an atmosphere where mediocrity is a death sentence. Pelinka faces a salary cap noose, playing chess with invisible pieces, where one wrong move could crash the Lakers' financial balance. Nostalgia tempts with the idea of bringing back KCP, a ghost from the 2020 champions, while names like Dillon Brooks and Malik Monk offer tantalizing skill sets wrapped in defensive or fit questions. The city is wrapped in tension, the smell of polished hardwood and anxiety mixing in the air. Conversations in bars echoing. Will they pull the trigger or stand still and fade? And what if the season starts strong, but chemistry fractures? Do Vincent and Vanderbilt become sacrificial lambs, traded to feed a second wave of title contention? Or do they prove to be the bedrock holding the team together? The locker room mix is volatile, veterans craving playoff glory, alongside hungry youngsters desperate to prove they belong. Under the white-hot pressure of a fan base that burns with every misstep, LeBron feels the weight of a city's legacy, knowing every decision could either seal his greatness or fade it into the twilight. AD's injury shadow lingers, threatening to derail the dream faster than any trade misfire. And outside the walls, the Western Conference looms Denver's Jokic dominance, Phoenix's Devin Booker firepower, the Clippers and Warriors circling like sharks. Every game will be a crucible with microscopic margins. The season's breath hangs in the balance, every rotation, every adjustment, every clutch moment stretching the gap between greatness and heartbreak. How much pressure can this group take? Before cracks shatter chemistry, could mid-season moves meant to fix weaknesses, to stabilize the culture Walter is intent on forging? By December, will roars turn to groans, momentum fade, and optimism dissolve into panic? Or will the perfect storm of strategy and hustle ignite a title run? Flip the coin. And you see both futures, one where the Lakers become unstoppable, and another where slow decay turns promise into regret. As a Laker to my core, I can feel the earthquake under this season, the patience, the gamble on internal growth, and the ownership shift all pulse with danger and beauty. Every moment will carry the weight of history, the spirit of legends, and the hunger of a city starving for greatness. The season ahead could end in champagne showers or the sound of dreams shattering on the hardwood. My take: this roster's grit and calculated restraint might be the exact gamble the Lakers need of health and chemistry hold, but the margin for error is razor thin, and if it collapses, the fallout won't just hit the standings. It will mark a turning point in Lakers history,